Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap up. Now in comparison to January, I didn't have as great of a reading month in Feb because I only managed to read 7 books and a couple of them were really short reads. So without further ado, let's get right into the books that I finished reading in February. The first book I read is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. This is the story of an orphan boy named Harry Potter who lives with his aunt and uncle. They mistreat him to no end, but one day on his 11th birthday, he discovers that he's a wizard and he has been chosen to study at Hogwarts, which is a school of witchcraft and wizardry. So this book follows his adventures in Hogwarts and how he makes new friends and finds his place in a world that he didn't know existed so far. Now, I loved Harry Potter when I read it as a kid, and I've already read the entire series once. So as usual, I loved reading it. It never gets old no matter how many times I read it. Whether I'm having a bad day or I'm just not in the mood, I can read random pages of any of the Harry Potter books and instantly feel so much better. I don't know why, but for me, they have this sense of home. I don't know. I read it and I feel so good. So of course, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars again. The next book I read is Small Acts of Freedom by Gurmeher Kaur. I was sent this book by Penguin India and I am so grateful to them because this was one of my most anticipated reads of 2018. It's a non-fiction which follows the lives of 3 generations of women as they deal with the grief that accompanies war, partition, etc. Some of the chapters in this book have been written from the perspective of a 3-year-old, which adds so much depth to the story. It's heart-wrenching and you just get pulled into the story so quickly. I loved it so much. Many times it brought tears to my eyes. It so clearly conveys the bond between family and how you can support each other during times of need. This is a book I would recommend to everybody because it's so inspirational and so strong. You should definitely check it out. Without a doubt, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Then I read Accent Level 1 by Srijip. This was also a review copy sent to me by the author herself. Thank you so much for that. This book is about a few students in different universities in Kolkata who are trying to change the youth politics scene over there. But what they don't know is that they are part of a game that is being played by God and Lucifer. So yes, God and Lucifer are characters in this book. It has become one of my favorite books by Indian authors because the world building is so intricate and so well mapped out. I don't generally dog-ear pages, but I just had to for this book because some of the scenes, some of the narratives, and some of the plot points are just so brilliant. Like, it's just going to be mind-boggling if you read it, and I do highly recommend that you read it because we don't have a lot of fantasy fiction and this one's been done exceptionally. There were a couple of scenes where I felt like it could have been a little more persuasive. But anyway, I have done an entire review for this, so if you're interested in this book, check out my complete review. I'll link it in the description. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. My next read was The Strange Library by Haruki Murakami. In this, Murakami creates a very creepy and at times disturbing story. A boy gets lost in a world underneath the library in his town. That's all I will tell you about it. What makes this book even more jarring is the visuals in it. For example, this. And then there are just random pages of artwork like this. So the story in itself is very peculiar and I wasn't prepared for it. But I did really like it and I would recommend it to you if peculiar, creepy books are your thing. I gave The Strange Library by Haruki Murakami 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I was sent a book for review. It's called Amla Mehta by Devi Menon. This is a very short graphic novel which talks about the narrator's childhood. Now she's pregnant and she's making gooseberry pickle. So she gets reminded of her times as a child in Kerala where she would have a lot of fun with her friend Maya and Maya's grandmom who made really delicious gooseberry pickle. So the graphic novel in itself is just about the narrator recounting these memories at random and also about her life now as an adult. but I didn't find anything that was very gripping or anything that kept me hooked to the story. Even the artwork I felt was a little basic and didn't really add much to the story itself. So I gave this book a 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't really like it a lot. The sixth book I read in February is called The Perils of Being Moderately Famous, which is written by Soha Ali Khan. This is a non-fiction book that explores growing up in a very influential family, and throughout the book she talks about her grandparents, her parents, her siblings, and how their struggles, their visions have shaped her and helped her become who she is today. She talks about her journey of forming her own identity, which is separate yet connected to her roots. Initially, it wasn't as captivating because she spoke about her family history with cricket as a sport, and since I don't really enjoy sports as much, I found those sections to be a little draggy. As an autobiography, it skims over some of the major happenings in her life, and it helps you get an insider's look of what it's like to grow up in a family that's been in the industry for so long. You'll also come to realize from her writing and her personality that she's somebody who doesn't hesitate to put forth her opinion. In her writing, there is a good deal of humor imbued. So I did enjoy reading it, and I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The last book I read in February is called Dreamers by Snigdha Poonam. This book was sent to me for review by Penguin India. Thank you so much for that. This is a non-fiction book that goes over what the youth of India are up to today, keeping with the changes in technology, culture, and simply the opportunities that are available to people nowadays. The author has conducted some very in-depth interviews with her subjects. So she uses her observation and the interaction with these subjects to weave a story about each of these individuals in specific chapters. And she talks about their life, where they've come from, their struggles and aspirations, and how they have worked so hard to get where they want to be. What is very evident from this book is that the youth of India are not ready to back down, even if they don't have the monetary resources or the connections to fulfill their dreams. Having read this book, I feel that it's not a very fair representation of Indian youth per se, because a majority of the subjects are men. More than that, they all belong to the northern region of India, so there isn't really equal representation. There aren't subjects from other regions of India, and there aren't many women who have been interviewed or covered. That being said, I enjoy reading this book because it's an eye-opener. You don't realize until you read a book like this what some people have to do in order to be successful. At times there's a little bit too much of politics in it, but that's fine because youth politics is something I am interested in. For those who enjoy non-fiction reads, I would definitely recommend it. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So that's all for my February wrap up. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if any of these books pique your interest, let me know in the comments. Or if you've read and you have certain different thoughts, then also let me know in the comments. If you subscribe to my channel, spread word about this channel, share it with your family and friends who enjoy reading or who would like to get started with reading. I am sure my videos will be very helpful to them. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.